Resiliency means when someone's trying to put you down, you can always get right back up, no matter what.
Resiliency means that you can conquer anything that comes in your way.
Resiliency to me is waiting for a brighter day.
Resiliency is probably the most hopeful word I've ever discovered.
Resiliency is an inner capacity that, when nurtured, facilitated, and supported by those important people around us, empowers youth and families to be successful in their daily lives.
They said that he would never be able to read or write, that he would never be able to maintain any kind of connection to the community, that they just basically told me it was hopeless and he had no future. I didn't believe that, and I was right. Because we have worked at this, and Bill has worked really hard. He has a job, he has an apartment, he has friends in the community, he has a life.
Resiliency is a concept that every community member should understand that we have a role in. Each of us, no matter where we are, we've got to support and nurture the strengths and the talents of that young person. Every child wants to be recognized. Every child wants to know that somebody thinks they're great and wonderful. And wouldn't it be great if all of us said to every child we see, "My, I'm proud of you."
Living with mental health problems can be difficult, but a huge part of making it through that is family and friends, is opening up, is speaking up for yourself. Actually, a part of me is thankful for my mental health so-called disorder. I say so-called disorder because so many great things have come out of that.
What helps Alex be resilient is feeling successful. So we try to take every opportunity to celebrate every success that he has, whether it be a winning season on a baseball team, a great catch, a great hit, getting through the day. Sometimes we just celebrate that we woke up the next day.
One of the biggest problems for families dealing with the mental illness of a child is stigma, because not only is the child stigmatized by their diagnosis of mental illness, but the parents are stigmatized as well, oftentimes being blamed for the illness. So it's level upon level upon level of blame and stigma that really impacts a family and causes them to isolate and withdraw. In that regard, I've always seen resiliency as sort of the antidote to stigma.
People with mental illness are just regular people. They just have a diagnosis.
We love, we care, we're kind. We just need help doing it.
What I have learned about resiliency, I learned from the youth and families that I've had the honor to work with. They have been able to teach me through their own experience about what it means to accept what the mental illness brings into their lives and how to cope and teach others.
The people who helped me most were those who thought outside the box, those who didn't let the system, conform them.
Resiliency is different for everybody. What makes you resilient is different from what makes me resilient. Find people who will support you. You can find help, and
you just have to look for it.
I think that it's important for people to know that if they feel like they're at their wits' end with their children, that they need to really research their options and find any way that works, whether it be horse therapy or counseling. There are a lot of things that could help.
For Peter, his video games have been the key to his resiliency because he's so about video games. And his mom realizes that and goes out and spends some money for video games. And for me, it's music. And for Billy, it's horseback riding. So I think our parents realize the keys to what makes us resilient and then help us go towards them.
My video games offer an escape from the troubles of my life, where I can go off in another world and just relax and be something else and come back to my problems later. Think about what your life would be like if you didn't have a place to go or a thing to do that made you be able to feel safe. It's very important.
When I think of resiliency, I think of my faith and support and self-understanding, you know, having insight into when I'm getting in trouble, when I'm starting to go down. I have people in my life who are very, very understanding and supportive, and they nurture me when I need it. And I, in turn, do the same for them.
Resiliency is the concept, the framework for everything that we do, whether it's support services, whether it's the voice of the children and the families at the table, whether it's the continuum of services. Resiliency has to be the framework so that all the policies move from there.
It is an absolute responsibility of the Ohio Department of Mental Health to assure that our policy is one that incorporates resiliency concepts, and that the dollars that flow through the department out to the communities support a focus on health and well-being.
Our kids never seem to have a continuous upswing. It's more of a hilly up and down, up and down. And hopefully each time the down is not as down as it was before.
A lot of people make the mistake of thinking once they've made it out of something, it's over. And resiliency is something that's never ending, you know. I always say you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. That's what resiliency is. Resiliency is going through those good days, going through the bad days, and knowing you're going to make it out. And when you make it out, keep it going.
I think the thing that we need the most is hope. We need people to give us hope and to support us in having hope, because there are brighter futures ahead, brighter days, and sometimes you lose sight of that when you're in the middle of an unstable time.
We've weathered so many storms and so many nightmares. Our family is intact, and we tend to focus on the positive things on purpose, and that starts to become a habit, and that's resiliency.
Yeah, I would say it gets better, and don't stop living.